Meet John. John is a serious, passionate L2 researcher working on syntax and semantics. He discovered an interesting phenomenon that distinguishes Russian L2 learners of Dutch from native speakers. He wrote a paper about it, and given that Dutch and Russian have a completely different architecture, indicated that L1 influence is unlikely. His paper became successful, and he decided to see whether the phenomenon could also be found in Turkish L2 learners of Dutch. It could. He wrote a second paper about it, and given that Dutch, Russian and Turkish all have a very different architecture, indicated that L1 influence is unlikely and that he was probably dealing with an acquisition universal. He then starts to set up things to work on a third paper about the same phenomenon with Mandarin L2 learners of Dutch. To his surprise, he however finds that his newest learners do not behave the way he expects them to. He double-checks everything he can double-check, but cannot but conclude that there has to be something in their L1 that is doing something. Poor John then finds out that there is no way in which he's going to single out what that something is, because there is simply no methodology around that allows him to study these differences in a systematic way and model them as influencing the L2 production of his learners. The main aim of this project is to develop the integrated methodological toolkit John needs to study differences between typologically distant languages and model them as influencing the L2 production of advanced learners. Not only will it allow John to continue his work with Mandarin learners, but it will also allow him to integrate L1 influence from the start in his future projects. We focus on definiteness, a complex semantic phenomenon that appears in different guises, both in form and meaning across languages. Its cross-linguistic versatility makes it into the perfect phenomenon for studying fine-grained L1 influence. We start from the oppositions between the definite and the indefinite article, and the simple past and the present perfect, but keep on looking and you'll see how we make this into a genuinely cross-linguistic project.